What's up guys, Noah Quizzy here, back with episode 5 of my college football redesign series. In this episode, we actually have 11 teams, up one from our normal 10, and I tried some different things in this episode, so I hope you enjoy. All these uniforms are designed in Photoshop using mockups from my website, templatefc.com, so if you're interested in making your own designs, be sure to check out that website. And I actually have a tutorial coming soon to this channel that will kind of walk you through the whole process of designing a uniform. There's some other tutorials on the Template FC YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel that you can check out as well if you want to get into it right now. Also, if you enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more and like this video if you enjoy. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first team up, we have Wisconsin, and I actually designed the Badgers uniforms on stream here on this channel, and I actually went through it a little quicker, so I designed more uniforms than I anticipated. So we got some wonky alternates going on here, but first off, we have the home and the away design, pretty similar to what Wisconsin currently has. I got rid of the black drop shadow on the logo on the helmet because I wanted to get rid of any black on the uniform, and I think the flat W actually looks pretty good too. And the two striping design, I went with a zigzag design to kind of mix it up because Nebraska and Wisconsin obviously have pretty similar uniforms, and I try to distinguish them both from each other. So if you would have seen my Nebraska design, I did some cuts in the two stripes to make it a little more interesting, and in this one I went with the zigzag design because something no other team has. I don't really know if I've ever seen it before, and I thought it'd be unique and cool and still fit with the right vibe. And also it kind of works with Wisconsin because they have the W, so the zigzag could look like a W too, which is kind of like an interesting correlation, I guess. The first alternate is this red uniform with the black helmet and black pants, also some black sleeves. It minimizes the white, but the white is still there on the outlines of the numbers. I also went with an all black uniform too, which I did at the end of the stream when I was trying to find things to do. And this one features the red numbers on the black uniform and like the red stripes, but I did do a white outline too, so everything pops a little more. But we have like two kind of black uniforms going on for Wisconsin, which I don't think they've ever worn a black uniform, but I thought it'd be a cool look for them since it's incorporated in their logo. This alternate here I actually called the mascot alternate because it's inspired by their mascot, the Badger, who wears a striped shirt. And you can see I have the Badger on the sleeve too, that part of the logo. And then the helmet has a bunch of stripes down the middle, and the sleeves are striped, and the rest of the uniform is pretty basic. I did go with a bit of a darker red here. Then we have this white uniform that's also kind of a mascot uniform because we have the Badger on the helmet this time, but the striping is a simple red stripe with like a checkerboard outline to it. And originally I was just going for the checkerboard design, and then I added that red bit in the middle, and I thought it really helped out the design a lot, so I used that. So that's on the sleeves and the helmet, and the rest of the uniform is pretty simple. And to wrap it up, we have two throwback uniforms, a home and away. So this home features the classic W on the helmet on the front and the back that Wisconsin used to rock. And they actually brought it back for a throwback a couple years ago. It's kind of interesting, but I thought I had to do it because I just did the Commanders video where I talked about how dumb it looks for them. But obviously in a throwback situation, it's a little bit better. The rest of the uniform then is that two-stripe classic Wisconsin design, but the stripes are a little thinner, and we have the collar stripe going on as well. And then the other throwback features a similar setup. The two stripes are a little bit different, different thicknesses and spacing. And then the logo on the helmet is their W in the oval, which is one of my favorite logos from their past. And then we have like a silver logos and a font change here in this one for a more classic feel. UTSA is actually a team I had never heard of before this season, and I believe they finished in the top 25 and had an incredible year, but they have a great color scheme. I am not a fan of their branding and their uniform setup. They just kind of put their logo on the sleeves. Their font and their text and everything is just not my style. It's a little similar to the Ravens, but a little worse, I think. So I completely changed up the branding. I went with like a different font, different text logo on the front and stuff like that. The only thing I use that they actually use is their logo, but the home setup here you can see is the blue, orange, or navy rather. And I think this is the best combo of these colors in my opinion. And the design on the sleeves I actually took from their logo, the kind of feathering style in like that pointed design. The font is kind of techy, but I thought the sharpness fit with the style I was going with. But I also incorporated the 3 cutouts from the feathers on the numbers too. And I did 3 because they're an Adidas sponsored team, so I thought that was fitting. The striping on the helmet and pants is pretty simple, but the helmet stripe does go into into a point to kind of fit with the sharpness and the pointiness of the other elements on the uniform. And you can see the white is navy, white, orange. So I think both the home and away combos are pretty cool. They obviously just flip tops, and I think the orange pants should be the standard. But then I do have an alternate with the white helmet and white pants and a different navy top this time that features an orange collar and more just navy and white elements throughout. And then there's an away version of that is the all white. So this would be like the second away jersey, I suppose. Between these 4 uniforms, I think these would be the main 4 looks. And then the alternates we have an all navy look, and then we have 2 more unique options. So we have the orange, which you could mix and match this with the white helmet and white pants too. And then we have an all gray, which I thought would really mix it up. You could wear gray for home and away games too. And I think this set of uniforms gives them a lot of combos that they could mix and match with and have a good color balance and things like that. Now UNC uses this Argyle pattern for all their sports teams pretty much in some way or some fashion, and I kind of took it and modified it to be my own thing, my own design. So I took that pattern and the diamonds and those sort of shapes and created my own striping pattern for them. So you can see here in this home uniform, we actually have 2 variations of stripe. So we have the helmet stripe, which features the navy down the middle with white on either side, and it includes some diamonds in it that are cut out. So we have like navy, white, and the light blue all mixed in there. Depending on where they overlap, it creates different effects. And then you can see the pant and jersey stripes are 2 stripes. So for the jersey top, it's just the navy and white with the same cutouts, and then the pants are both blues. And I just think the traditional football stripe with a unique touch to it, being the Argyle diamonds, is pretty cool. It's a little chaotic, but a little classy, and I think it really fits. The away look then would be all white head to toe, and then the first alternate would be an all light blue look. So basically taking the home design and just adding light blue pants there. And of course, the away design could bring in light blue pants into that too, and they could also wear the light blue helmet. And you can see further options here if we go to the navy uniform. You can see I did not use any white here, so this is just both blues, the navy and the light blue, which I think looks great. I love this combo. And then we basically have the reverse of this uniform, the all light blue with just navy. And again, I think this looks so good. Those 2 uniforms I think are my favorite here. We also have the classic option, which features like a drop shadow and a slightly different stripe pattern on the sleeves, helmet, and pants. Still features like that diamond, but it's a little smaller, and you can kind of see the Argyle a little bit more. And then the final uniform is an all white with just light blue, so no navy. And I thought it'd be interesting here and mix up the helmet, and I went with like the horns on the helmet in like a reflective silver, because the UNC Tar Heels is their nickname, and their mascot's a goat or whatever it is, a Tar Heel. It's a goat. It has horns. So I thought I would take their horns and use them as like a horn design similar to what the Rams do. UCF actually have pretty good uniforms and like a good branding overall with their fonts and things like that. So my uniform doesn't really stray too far away from their design. I did go with gold numbers with white accents. I'm pretty sure they wear white numbers with gold accents, so the reverse. And I did mix up their sleeve design because they go with their alternate logo on the sleeves. That's like a slightly lighter gray or like a dark gray on black, so you can kind of see it, but only like in certain lighting and things like that. And I decided to go with this like knight face on the sleeves in gold because I thought that was pretty cool, fit the knight's name obviously. And then the striping on the helmet and pants is one solid stripe that goes into a point. Again, this has a sharp branding to it, so sharp points and things like that. So I went with that aesthetic. The away look then is all white with a black face mask, black numbers, but the sleeve design is still gold, and I think that color balance looks pretty cool. So all the striping and the sleeve design is gold, and then you mix that with the black numbers and logos, and then you have the away option with black pants as well. Then we have this all black alternate with the matte black helmet, which that helmet could be mixed into the other designs too. The first true alternate is this gold design, and actually when I used to play the NCAA games on the Xbox and things when that was still a thing, which is coming back here soon, but UCF was actually, I'm pretty sure they wore the gold as their home uniform. So this is kind of how I think of them. I think of them wearing gold, so I went with a complete gold and white uniform, and I think the helmet looks really clean with the like the matte white finish, but then the gold reflective accents and logos. I think that looks really tough. And then I also went with a white version of this, so it's the white top, and then this also has a slightly different sleeve pattern because the gold one had kind of just like a pattern I created to fit the aesthetic of the Golden Knight. If I go back to that, you can see it's like a couple of sharp points that were meant to they're kind of supposed to be swords at the beginning and kind of just transitioned into a cool sleeve design, I guess. The final uniform for them is the space uniform, because every year UCF has been wearing a space uniform. I forget the reason for it, but they play a space game. But I actually made a tutorial on a space background in Photoshop like years ago on my other channel, and it's actually one of my more popular videos. It was my most popular video for a time, and so I took that tutorial, that video, creating a space background, made my own space background and used that for the helmet and the numbers and the sleeve design. And then I went with the stars throughout the uniform. And now the stars would probably, like if this was printed and made, the stars would be smaller and probably more subtle and not stand out quite as much as this uniform. And I went with like purples, pinks, and blues because the space uniform for UCF really has no color code. Like they don't use their colors. They use like brighter colors in there too. And I thought I would do my favorite colors because you see my lighting and stuff, my branding, I use purple, pink, light blue, that sort of thing. SMU actually has one of my favorite uniforms and like brandings in all of football. And you can see I didn't do anything too crazy here. These are very similar to what SMU currently rocks. The striping for this uniform is actually inspired by the Sampdoria soccer team in Italy. And they have a unique striping pattern on all their uniforms and they wear the same colors. So I took sort of the same style stripe and used that for their sleeves. You can see it's not symmetrical. It's white, red, blue, white, but I really like it. It's unique, but it would still fit a football uniform and it's not anything too crazy. It gives them something to identify them and stand out from like your typical normal football uniforms. The away is the same setup with red numbers and blue strokes on that. So the red is a little more dominant in this version. We also have a home red top. So you can see that just reverses some of the colors on the top. Then we have the all white look, which features this alternate logo, which I love. This jersey has more of the blue rather than the red throughout. Then we have both home options again. So we have the blue option, but with red pants. And then we have the red option with blue pants. And then finally, the alternate is an all blue with red accents. So again, just a balance of the red and blue. This one has a more simple striping, just 2 stripes. San Diego State actually has some really awesome uniforms. Their helmet design and sleeve designs are pretty cool, but unfortunately on TV, you can't really see any of the details at all. It kind of just looks like one solid color. Basically makes their red look like a dark red and you can't really see what's going on unless you're zoomed in really close. So I wanted to redesign that and kind of make the design elements stand out a bit more. So for my home design, you can see we have some clear Azteca patterns. And I took these pattern designs from a soccer kit I made for Club America. I took those same kind of patterns and created the sleeve design. And those designs in the sleeves are also on the helmet stripe then. And then the rest of the uniform is relatively simple. And then the pants stripe is actually, again, that same patterning from the sleeves and helmet, but it's a dark gray. So it doesn't stand out quite as much on the pants because I didn't want to overwhelm the design with this pattern. And for the away, I just switched out the top because that's what they like to do for their uniforms. So I gave them that option. But I also have an all white uniform for them with the red helmet with the white stripe. And this one actually looks really sweet with just the, or with mainly red and white. It really pops and is really bright. I also thought they could mix in red pants with the home uniform because I think that's a good look as well. Then we have this red alternate, which is a little more similar to what they currently have. And I actually made a banner header like a while back that was an Azteca design. And I just reused it here because it looks so good. It's got the face with the circular design elements and it works so good on the sleeves, the helmet as well. I just think it looks really, really interesting. Kind of suffers the same problem where like on TV, you probably wouldn't be able to tell like what these different things are, but zoomed in, you could clearly see it. But I did make it a little thicker than what they actually use. So it would be a little bit better in that regard. And there's also a white version of this. So just the white and black, which I think is the superior of these with the little bit of red mixed in as well. And then the final uniform here is the same pattern again, the same design, but with the all black look and the red helmet and red shoulders. But we also mix in some gold. So we have gold numbers and a gold cuff. And also the face on the helmet is now gold just to give the helmet a little something something. Moving on to what might be the most unique uniform in the set for home and away jerseys at least, and that's Oregon State. So I saw some Oregon people did not like their recent uniforms with the stripes on the top of the shoulder, but I thought it was actually a pretty good look and pretty interesting. I saw them say that because the Nike owner or CEO goes to Oregon and gives them all those cool uniforms, they intentionally gave Oregon State bad uniforms, which I would disagree with. But I took my shot at making some unique Oregon State uniforms. You can see I continued that shoulder stripe thing that they have currently, but I went with a unique kind of watered effect to it, kind of like it was getting washed out by water or something on the sleeves. And I thought this was just super unique and kind of fit the Beaver name. The home is obviously all black, but then the away is all white with the orange helmet, which I think is a clean look, especially with the orange numbers. That color balance is really awesome. We also then have the all orange look that you can throw in there too, so you can mix and match orange pants with the white top or things like that. Then I have 2 classic uniforms. So we have this white, black, white classic uniform with the script font on the front and the drop shadow on the numbers and the classic logo on the helmet. And then we have the same thing, but black, orange, black. Again, I like the color balance here and I think this is a good design, but it's the same setup as a previous classic uniform. Then another unique design for them, we have this alternate black and gray. So gray helmet, gray pants, the logo is grayed out, and all the gray elements mainly just feature orange, and then the black jersey just features the gray and orange, and we have this zigzag design on the sleeves. There's no real reason behind it other than it looking cool and kind of fitting the feel of the uniform I was going for, while also being a pretty simple design overall. Then we have this all white uniform with kind of this wood texture to it. Obviously it's not really a wood texture, it's like a very simplified version of wood that was like cut open, so looking at the inside. They do that on the numbers, and I was gonna reuse that for the numbers, but I was like, I can kind of make this a little more abstracted. I just went for cool looks really. But these last two uniforms are basically just cool uniforms to help them deal with Oregon always having cool uniforms. Speaking of Oregon, they're up next actually, and this is probably one of the most requested uniforms, but it's actually hard to design because they have so many designs. Like thinking of something different to do for Oregon is kind of tough. So I'll kind of walk you through all these uniforms. We have 9 here, and you could even make further combos from these 9, but the home uniform we have here is the brighter green with just yellow accents, and I have the wing design on the helmet that they've been using that I think looks really cool. I went with the green with some yellow accent, and then I made the green reflective, so the helmet's matte and then the designs are reflective, so you can still see the green on green. The away uniform then is all white with gradient elements, so you can see best by looking at the numbers. We have a bit of a darker green, kind of the green I used for the home uniform, and it goes to a lighter kind of lime green. All the elements throughout the uniform are like that. You can really see it on the helmet with the wings. Now I'll run through the more simpler alternates. So we have a black and yellow alternate with the same design setup. We have a darker green design setup here with the brighter green as the numbers and the accents and everything. Then we have this brighter green, this kind of more lime green. So again, we have the design on the sleeves and shoulder and collar. And then we have the alternate duck logo on the sleeves here. And there's also a white version of this that's just black and white, which also looks really good. Then we have this all black alternate, which features dotted paint everywhere, which is a uniform they actually wore. They wore something similar to this. This only features the splatters on the top part of the uniform and the bottom part of the pants and the helmet as well. And the helmet also incorporates the wings black on black, but again, the reflectiveness kind of makes the design stand out a bit. Then we have a more traditional design with the classic uniform. So this is a brighter green and the yellow, and then we have like the classic O logo and then the classic duck and O logo on the sleeves with a more traditional striping setup. We also have this alternate, which is the all yellow with black setup. Again, this is similar to the previous or the earlier designs with just the wings. And then finally, we have this all white with silver uniform and some yellow accents, which I think is really cool. The helmet and number also incorporate a cool texture and have this reflectiveness to them, which I thought was pretty interesting, kind of like a metallic look for the helmet and numbers. Oregon was actually the toughest part of this project because they have so many good uniforms already. It's like, it's not easy to improve them. So I just kind of had to make my own thing. Hopefully you guys like. For Iowa, I wanted to change up their design to be not the Steelers uniform exactly. I wanted to make it tweak so it was a little different. I tried a few things, and then I came through the best solution, which was just to reverse the black and white on the sleeve stripe. Still looks very much like a Steelers jersey, but it is different. But I do have some awesome alternates for them. So the first one is this all black look that features this like textured ice throughout it. So it's like this ice texture, and then we have gray elements on black with some yellow accents to it. Then I have a couple alternates inspired by their most infamous uniform with these wings on the shoulders. So we got the yellow helmet and the all black uniform, and then we also have a version of this in white that's like the same setup. We also have a classic, I think they actually wear this throwback, but it's really clean, it's really good. Then we have this all yellow alternate, which takes those wings from the shoulders and puts them on the helmet. And then since the wings feature 3 separate elements, I used 3 stripes on the sleeves, even though it's a Nike uniform, it's not Adidas. Yeah. Baylor recently went to some really boring uniforms, so I tried to do something really interesting for them and went with a bunch of different colors. So we have a couple different greens, yellow and white, and I went with the multicolored stripes again, similar to what I did with SMU. So you can see we have the sleeve stripes basically at the bottom of the sleeves, and I also included the bear claw logo. I think this is one of their logos that also features the striping that's a little higher up. The helmet stripe's a little more simple, but then the pant stripe is the same as the sleeve stripe, and because there's a lot of colors going on there, I kind of cut the pant stripe off like halfway up the pants. The away version features the all green helmet, so we got a green face mask this time, and then all white throughout with the same striping and design setup. The first alternate is an all yellow with white helmet, so this white helmet could be mixed into the previous uniforms. And one of my favorite uniforms they wore previously was actually this gray on green. And I really liked it for whatever reason, so I went ahead and kind of made my version of it with the reflective gray helmet as well. Then we have two very unique alternates. One of my favorite Baylor uniforms of all time is their black and gold. So I went and made my own black and gold uniform that features this cool sleeve and shoulder design. And then this other alternate features a more like neon yellow, and this is almost a Oregon feeling uniform, but it is different. And we have all those stripes going on again, this time on a bit of the sleeves and on the sides of the uniform. And finally, to round out this video, we have the big dogs, Alabama. And of course, I couldn't really touch the home and away. They're classics. I'm a Penn State fan, so I honored Penn State's tradition, didn't alter their home and away, just did alternates. So I'll do the same here for Alabama. Of course, we're gonna have teams like this throughout. So home and away, unchanged. But if we get into the first alternate, it's the most subtle of the alternates, and it's basically their home design with some elephant patterning to it. So the sleeves have some elephant pattern and the collar as well. And then the numbers and text on the back do too. Since their mascot's an elephant, I thought including some elephant elements would be cool. And for Alabama, you probably won't ever actually see them wear an alternate. But if they did, I thought this one would be a good one because it's very subtle. Then we have this gray uniform for them, which is absolutely crazy for Alabama. Like this, they would never do this. But we have the red helmet with the A on the helmet instead of the numbers, and the stripe and the A are gray instead of the white, and then the rest of the uniform is gray with the elephant patterning on the sleeves. And continuing the theme with gray, we have this alternate kind of home setup that replaces the white with gray. So we got the gray stripe on the helmet and gray numbers, and all that is reflective too. And finally, we have this cream uniform. So it's basically the same setup as the previous uniform, the red helmet with the gray accents, and then the uniform is all cream or just like a bit off-white, and this actually has a more reflective red on it too. And this is actually something I could see Alabama possibly doing, but Oklahoma did something similar already, so I don't know if they would. Yeah, that's my Alabama, and that's the video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more. I have more episodes of this coming. I have some other uniform design stuff coming out, so I really appreciate any support. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Quezzy and follow my Instagram, that's Quezzy. Be sure to check out Template FC if you want to create your own stuff, templatefc.com. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.